Fred Richani, TSC, here to recap UFC 248, which featured one of the all-time great title fights in UFC history. One of the all-time great women's MMA fights. You know what? I'm going to make a declarative statement. Greatest women's MMA fight of all time. Maybe, just maybe, the greatest UFC fight of all time. Definitely one of the greatest MMA fights of all time. Weili Zhang, Joanna Jedrzejczyk had a classic. And then we had the main event. Or as it should be called tonight, the lame event. Because Israel Adesanya wanted Yoel Romero. Israel Adesanya wanted to put on a show, or so we thought. And look, I get that styles make fights. I get that Yoel Romero, for a guy that's nicknamed the Soldier of God, is one of the most dangerous people walking the face of the earth. That being said, you asked for this fight. This dude lost 3 out of 4 fights. A lot of them could have gone either way. Yoel Romero, one of the greatest fighters to never win a UFC championship. And here was his chance to finally win. Here was Izzy's chance to showcase his stuff. Okay, this is the main event spot. Okay, there's no interim champion. There's no Robert Whittaker in the way. No. This is his first title defense. And this fight was the polar opposite of the co-main event. Now, the co-main event had Weili Zhang winning this fight by split decision, 48-47, 47-48, 48-47. Absolute classic. If you didn't watch this fight, two unbelievable high-level strikers, high-level mixed martial artists going at it, taking their best shots. Joanna Jedrzejczyk, I thought, mixed up her strikes a little bit more, but, Weili busted up Joanna's nose, busted up her head. If you ever watched the Mark Hominick fight with Jose Aldo from back in the day that I was there live for, Mark Hominick had a massive hematoma. It would look like a baby was coming out of his forehead. Well, Joanna's was like her whole forehead. It wasn't like one spot. It was like literally her whole forehead. She looked like a freaking different person. Both women, I think, not only guaranteed themselves the usual performance of the night bonuses, but they got to get 100 G's each, if not more. They got to get paid vacations. They got to get the works from UFC, and perhaps they should get an immediate rematch. Although, for the sake of both women's healths, I think they should probably take it easy for now. But we had that absolute classic that had fans watching at home, watching live in the crowd, observers, commentators, everybody in awe. And then we got the lame event. And the lame event featured Yoel, I think, throwing like 3 or 4 strikes. And by default, he won round number 1. Round number 2, a little more active. I kind of had it for Romero. Round number 3, Yoel was starting to slow down a little bit. Izzy was working those leg kicks, those body kicks, and he had the Joe Rogan special with the leg kicks. And Yoel did slow down. And at the end of the day, while the guy is a bronze medalist in wrestling, while he is an Olympian, while he is one of the scariest men on the planet, he's also 42 years old. And as the fight progressed, he got a little bit slower, but I still thought it was a pretty damn close fight. In fact, I actually thought it could have gone either way. And in round number 5, I thought he needed to do more because you gave round 3 to Izzy. I gave round 4 to Izzy. And then you get to round 5 and not a lot's going on, but Izzy was more active. And I'm just thinking, man, this is a guy that's had 3 title fights. One which fell through because he missed weight. And he had it. He had it. He had to go for broke. Okay? I'm not advocating every fighter to just take brain damage for no reason, but guess what? When it's your last shot, you're in the main event, you're 42 years old, this could change your life. I'm sure he makes good money. He could have been making great money if he won this fight. And honestly, it wouldn't have taken that much to win this fight. Just come forward, okay? Get in Izzy's face. He rocked him a little bit. He stunned him a little bit early on in the fight. I think he could have absolutely won. He took all of Izzy's best shots, but he didn't. And look, I'm not a fighter. I'm not, far be it from me to criticize the guy's technique or anything like that. But I just thought in terms of urgency from this viewer watching at home on ESPN Plus, I thought Yoel could have done a little bit more, maybe a lot more, to secure this victory. And it's unfortunate. Israel Adesanya, well, unfortunate for him anyway, Israel Adesanya got the unanimous decision win, 48-47, 48-47, 49-46. I think this fight was much closer than some people thought. Certainly much closer than the commentators thought. And what can I say? Izzy didn't have... He did enough to win, but let's keep it real here. I do think this could have gone either way, and this was not a convincing performance. And I get it. Yoel is dangerous. Yoel is dangerous, but you specifically asked for this fight. This was supposed to be your showcase, and instead, this was a piss poor main event. And look, it was not Wonderboy Thompson versus Tyron Woodley too bad. That is probably I would say it's probably like the basement, the cellar, the underground, the hell when it comes to quality of title fights. It's like the barometer of hell. All right, this wasn't that bad, but it wasn't great either. It was an intriguing fight though, because Yoel does have that power. He could kill you at any time, as poor Chris Weidman, New York's own, knows all too well. But yeah, not a great performance by either guy here, and just mind-boggling from the standpoint of Yoel Romero. And afterwards, Israel Adesanya said that he's glad the judges didn't listen to the crowd. He put on a beating on Yoel. He beat up his legs, which he did beat up his legs. And then Yoel afterwards criticized Israel Adesanya and said, "Hey, these fans pay for pay-per-view. They need to fight. We want to fight," which is great. Except you were literally standing still for most of round one. Like, he was just standing still. I'm serious, like this. Just standing still. It was ridiculous. And after the fight, right after the bell, they get in their faces, they get each other's faces, and they're just like going at it like they could go 5 more rounds. And I'm thinking, where the hell was this? The whole fight. Terrible. Just terrible fight all around. And look, I get it. Yoel's dangerous, but at the end of the day, and Israel Adesanya should know this better than anybody, given how fast his star has risen. This ain't just a sports business. This is a sports entertainment business. And these two men did not do a good job in the entertainment department there. But Izzy retains the title. Wiley retains her title. Hopefully they'll do an immediate rematch. In like 6 months after their medical suspensions. And then we had another awesome fight. Beneil Dariush defeated Drakkar Klose via knockout punch in round number 2. These dudes were going at it, and in round number 2, they just said, "YOLO, we're just gonna scrap. We're just gonna give each other brain damage. We're not gonna care. We're just gonna strike like mofos." And Beneil, to his credit, man, he took some serious shots. I don't know he had that chin in him, but he knocked out Drakkar pretty damn badly. To the point where his mouthpiece was hanging out like he was Steph Curry, and just he was done for. Great fight. And I thought up to that point, man, there's no way anybody's beating that fight for performance of the night. Well, sorry, Beneil. Sorry. We had Neil Magny, who had his first fight in a year and a half. This dude was a stud for a while at welterweight, had a rough patch, had been out of the game for a while, came back here, beat Li Jinliang via unanimous decision, 30-27 across the board. Just a great all-around performance by Neil Magny. Taking some of Lee's best shots, taking him down, just looking good all around. And I think Neil Magny will definitely eventually work his way up the top 10. And he's a guy that I think is one of those fringe guys, right? He's had some really signature wins, had some notable wins, been somebody that came out of the Ultimate Fighter that some people thought was kind of a boring fighter, but ended up really leveling up his skill set. And I think the time is now. Strike while the iron's hot, young man, and hopefully it all works out for him. I think he's at a point in his career now where he could be a contender eventually, like a lot of people thought he might be when he went on that little winning streak and accumulated all those wins, or he could be a gatekeeper. And I guess time will tell, but this was a damn good return performance for him. Happy for the guy. Seems like he was going through some stuff during his absence, so good for him. We had the fake cowboy of the UFC, Alex Oliveira, defeat Max Griffin via split decision, 28-29, 29-28, 29-28. These two put on a beating against each other, but Cowboy got the win. I didn't watch most of the prelims, but I did get a chance to see Sean O'Malley knocking out Jose Alberto Quinones via head kick and some vicious punches. Round 1, Sean O'Malley looked great there. Other results, again, I didn't get a chance to catch all the prelims. Mark Madsen defeated Austin Hubbard via unanimous decision. Rodolfo Vieira defeated Saparbek Safarov via arm triangle choke in round number 1. Gerald Mearshart, I hope I pronounced that correctly, defeated Darren Wynn via rear naked choke in round number 3. Giga Chikadze, I watched this fight, defeated Jamal Emmers via split decision. And then we had Dana Batgarel defeat Guido Canetti via knockout in round number 1. So As you can tell, not a huge marquee card in terms of names, especially on the main card. I mean, I know some people have heard of Cowboy Oliveira and Neil Magny and Beneil, but not really superstars or guys like Robbie Lawler or something like that's gonna make you jump out of your seat. But a very entertaining main card outside of the lame event. And after fight, Paulo Costa, who was supposed to be next in line, I believe he tore his pec. I think he tore his pec or his bicep, something like that. He ended up having to miss a few months. He's next in line. Joe Rogan mentioned he's next in line. He tried to hop the guardrail, and I guess security escorted him out. So I guess they didn't get the memo. They were trying to promote a future fight. So yeah, that's the deal there. Israel Adesanya will face off against Paulo Costa down the road. And while Izzy is a great fighter, while he is the champion, while he did retain the title tonight, let's pump the brakes just a little bit on the whole second coming of Jon Jones talk. Let's just do that, okay? There was a guy who also was claimed to be the second coming of Jon Jones years ago. His name was Phil Davis, and while Phil Davis has had a hell of an MMA career, especially in Bellator, I wouldn't go that far. Now, Izzy did get to where Phil Davis didn't, became the champion, exciting, has a lot of personality. I mean, Phil Davis did too, but Izzy's just overall, outside of this fight, the more exciting fighter. But we've seen this before where guys say this guy's the next GSP, this guy's the next great heavyweight, light heavyweight, this guy's the next, or girl's the next this and that. We always want to compare in sports, right? Zion Williamson right now, although so far so good for him. Let's pump the brakes a little bit on Izzy with that. He defended his title. If he can get through not only Yoel Romero, but Paulo Costa, two scary, dangerous, highly skilled men, then I think we can maybe talk a little bit about Jon Jones. And honestly, I think he's really going to need a dominant performance over Paulo Costa in order to really justify the Jon Jones fight. That's just my opinion, but we'll see what happens there. But folks, I want to hear from you. Did you enjoy the fights? Did you love them? Did you hate them? Let me know. Leave a comment below. If you enjoyed this update, please like, share, take care. Shout out to all the people that watched the live stream. Zeke Myers, Jordy Cruz, John Meko Gallegos, Ishmo, thank you guys for all watching live. You can subscribe to our podcast just by searching on your favorite podcast platform, TSC News Podcast, or my name, Fred Richani. Until then, please subscribe, enable notifications so you don't miss an update. And until next time, everybody, as always, enjoy the fights.